Click this button and say, yo, what up?
How's it going?
It's good. It's really, really good. Spinner, eh?
Yeah, uh, I know you were kind of like on him, but just some of the stuff he can do with between Adorable Telepath and Crate Capture Net is very fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. So hit me with the pitch. What's going on with Spinner?
Well, the idea is to get really really big sword is the main thing to try to do with it.
Sure.
Um, because if you do a foundation into Create Capture Net, and if you have that foundation was an Adorable Telepath, pick it back up, then you can play really big sword on the next attack and play the Adorable Telepath again, and it's just nice. Or if you do all that and then go for the win, if you don't have as many as you just built 4 foundations to give your attack +4 on it's powerful.
Yeah, I love that. My big thing is here's my hot take on really big sword. I think even increasing his powerful by 1 is good enough.
Yeah.
I think that if the goal is to make this happen, I think that you should just like slam everything into speed and then like always hit them and then just like really big sword, powerful 3 and just like slam them.
Yeah, that's what I was probably just going to be doing. It was going to be speed the entire chain. Yeah. Because a lot of his attacks are already hitting pretty heavily, right, being like mostly 5s and 6s.
So what do you need my help with?
Probably just to shore up the foundations. I know I'm pretty even on my blocks, but I'm not entirely sure on the foundations because playing the 2 check on the really big sword, I'm like, okay, I need to make sure I have a decent amount of spam to make sure I can at least play the game.
Yeah. That is fair. What are your thoughts on Staff Strike?
I was thinking about it, but I'm very leery of having a 6 stiff with a 2 check in the deck.
Sure.
Like, I know people have done it, but it's just I'm not that lucky. I've had times where I've had 2 checks in my hand and I checked the 3rd on one of my 2 checks and it's like okay.
That is fair. That's super, super fair.
And if the only thing on, if I was doing Staff Strike, I would probably want to try Into the Fray and build that down and on one of my on turn 2, and then turn 3 go weapon foundation, well, after using the first form, and then just on the what is that, -3 on the 5 for the Staff Strike.
Yeah, which I don't think is a bad move at all. Okay, I think I've got I got some ideas. So let's start off with the attacks that I added. The attacks that I added, since you said no to Staff Strike, was none of them. I think Staff Strike is the only thing that you're really kind of missing as like an option, right? And genuinely, it was just gonna be like a one of, right? Like 1 create bow staff and then 1 Staff Strike, and then just like let it whatever happens, you know?
Yeah. I can always throw one in if I don't care for a bow staff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's totally chill. From here onto foundations, because I didn't see any actions or assets that you could really go for. The only asset that I could see would be the deadlock one. It says when you're at deadlock, your moves get +X+X. Maybe toss 2 of those in your sideboard, so that when you play your really big sword as the 3rd move, and you've given it nothing but speed. It comes in as a 5-speed move. You commit. Now it's 10 high for 14. And that's a way to end the game. So first off, charging all for 1. If you have less foundations in your rival, just throw attack. It's +3 or +5 damage just by destroying it, and you can just like slam it into your stage and then get rid of it. Like the cool thing about Spinner is he's allowed to play these unique enhance remove type foundations. He doesn't need a big stage, or he can play more of these because he can slam it and then make it leave, and then at the end of his turn build another one, right? Determined 6 check says that when you block with anything that has good and order, right? So like passing the torch or adorable telepath, since you have void. Hack and slash, right? It's on a 0 mid, and it also checks a 6. You don't necessarily care about the deadlock ability, but like having 2 of this is not terrible. Hero's Inspiration says that you don't have to play an attack card before Capture Net in order to rebuild. So you just use the enhance on Hero's Inspiration, add it to your card pool, draw a card, and then create Capture Net, and then build it back down.
Yeah. It was in the deck to begin with, but I was cutting 2s, so I'm like, I wasn't quite sure on it.
There. That's fair. First impressions. It says that you kind of get to kickstart your pluses. I will flip this. My move gets +3 speed. I will enhance on Spinner. Or sorry, +3 damage. I will enhance on Spinner. My next thing gets this thing gets +1 speed. It gets blocked because obviously you just gave it 3 speed or 3 damage. Next thing gets 3 speed. It actually gets 4 speed. I can now choose on Spinner. Do I want to give it more speed? So +5 speed or +1 damage to like guarantee this next thing hits, right?
Yeah.
Like playing a move, first impressions, the second move that you play is a really big sword, you might just kill him, right? Because like, you just give it gets +5 speed. It's a 7 high for 7 that does the thing. And so like, the only issue is it is a setup. It is seen. It's telegraphed. You don't get to just cheat this in and then do the thing. Tiaki Fanatic. And this card's insane in your deck strictly because of you just build it down whenever if your opponent has an out on your turn. Your first enhance is I'll just slam Tiaki Fanatic. Now your onboard out I don't care about it.
Yep.
Neutrino Method. You're trying to build things, so build things. And then a Precious Lesson. I think it's crazy you don't have this set of 4 of in your deck. I think this card is so good with self-sacrifice. I would like increase self-sacrifice by 1 and a Precious Lesson up to 4 of. After one of your foundations is removed or destroyed, build the top card of your deck face down. You're trying to build cards, yeah?
Yeah. The only thing on that, I didn't know how many ways to destroy foundation I had. Like self-sacrifice, and then I think one of his foundations destroys itself.
Blade Expertise?
Yeah. So like I'm like, other than go for the wins and then those 6 foundations, I'm like, I wasn't quite sure. So I was leery on that, but because the only other really good destroy one was idle work, and I'm wasn't quite sure on that one.
Yeah. So from here, is there anything that looks interesting about these, about the cards that I put in? Anything that you're like, whoa, this card's tight?
Like, I do like charging one for all, and the first impressions in Tyotic Fanatic, having those, like you said, for first impressions, just being able to say, I know you're going to have to block this, so my next attack is going to get faster.
Yeah.
First, and then Tyaki is just really nice to, like you said, first enhances to build it down. It's like, okay, what are you going to do? I have your answer.
Yeah. What does this number look like?
like I usually run like mid 60s,
Mm-hmm.
but like I was trying to keep it fairly slim, but this was also like the first draft after my like really rough draft of the first pass.
Sure. That's fair. That's fair. Can I go in and tell you the cards that I don't like?
Sure.
I don't like preparing for battle. I don't think you need this card.
Mhm.
I think you've got Rising Starlet. I think you've got Hack and Slash. I think you've got Blade Expertise. That's enough weapon foundations to make Blade Expertise happen. I think this card is. I would rather just play like another copy of Self-Sacrifice and 2 more Precious Lesson instead of it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Bonds of Friendship. I think playing. I get that. So let's look at your difficulties, right? You're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 of 37. So 2/3 of your foundation lineup are spams.
Yeah.
Yes, you're gonna build a ton of cards out of your hand, but you have the word build on your face. So be a little 2 div heavy and use your opponent's turn in order to build as well, right? Use your turn, use your opponent's turn. So you, of all the characters that don't need a bunch of spams, it's Spinner, man. You don't need Bonds of Friendship. You don't need a high value target, right? You just like you get to just slam a bunch of moves down.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I was scared of the 2 diff or the 2 check.
That is,
but yeah, that makes sense.
Totally fair. I think if because of what you have, we could probably add in like I'm looking at 8 more 2s, and I think that you'd be set because of like being like 50-50. And play a 1, play a 1, play a 0, and then that's you going first. You built 3, that's enough. That's enough on the next turn to like you check a 2 on your Gecko Stomp, you commit your 3 foundations. You use Spinner, you build 1 down. If they full block, you build 1 down. You build 2 more foundations, you pass. You've got 2 in hand, you've got 7 foundations now. You're fine, right? Like you stabilized totally fine.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you tell me what do I get to start ripping out of this deck?
Preparing and high value can go.
Okay. Preparing and high value are gone. I want to put in 1 more copy of Self-Sacrifice at minimum and 2 copies of a Precious Lesson. Right. We've got 2 more cards. We're technically low block light. Can I put back in 1 of the Hero's Inspiration? Or we can try the First Impressions.
First Impressions can go in.
Oh yeah, that's a 2. So we're back to our 60 number. I don't know if we want to go above that because that's technically book, or not.
Bonds can probably be cut too.
Bonds of Friendship. Okay, I'm into that. If we do that, let's toss in Double Determined. 1 to keep our 6 check, and 2, this card is as good as the 1 check that we pulled out of the deck. This card counts for 2. This card counts for 3, especially when you block with things like passing or adorable, right?
Yeah. They really need to find a way to make sure that you can determine what actually determined effects on this site.
I guess. Use your eyes. Just use your eyes.
I'm lazy.
Fair. I don't know. I get that you're playing Spinner, so like the auto inclusion of 4 Blade Expertise, 4 Hack and Slash is like where it's at. When I make Spinner, I'm not putting these cards in my deck. Yeah. I think Blade Expertise is. You're also going for a really big sword build, and I would not be. I might be probably doing something else. I think that Hack and Slash is just a wasted slot. I would rather this be more copies of Destined. I would rather this be another copy of A Precious Lesson. This card takes up this ability.
Yep.
This is giving a move +2/+2 once per turn worth. like your once per turn? Or would you rather have a Lost in Thought get put in your stage, or a Charging All for One, or a Teaki Fanatic? Like, I think I get why this card is here, because it has to combo off of this card.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, I hate it. At the same time, you also are playing Create Capture Net, so you can put it into your card pool and then build it down and get the +2 that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, it can stay. It can stay.
Just
if this card had a way to build itself, I think I'd be way more in.
Yeah.
But it don't. 60. We've technically cleaned up our block mods again.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the big things we'll leave it on the table, right? Charging All for One.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Inspiration. Teaki Fanatic. Are all things, and Lost in Thought. I think Lost in Thought's going to be absolutely massive for Spinner. I love that you put it in your sideboard. Please test this card. I think the card's very, very good.
Yeah, like when you were talking about it, I'm like, yeah, that does sound pretty good. So I'm like, it was just in there because, like I said, I was cutting 2s, and now that you're saying I don't need to have a lot of spam, I can have more 2s, so I'll have to figure out which 2s actually work.
Yeah, it just like it's so good in your character specifically because you care about building cards back, and this card says that you lift one and then rebuild it, and you take away their best defensive piece on board. It's just so good. It's so good. But yeah, so I don't think we're allowed to cut anything else. I think that this is as little as it gets to go. If you wanted to, we could push this number a little higher, like add in another Blade Rush, and put in like maybe the 1x bow staff in order to increase this number to give us 4 more foundation slots, right? Like if we went up to 60, or if we went up to 22 attacks, we're allowed to have 66 cards. If we went up to 21 attacks, we're allowed to have 63 cards in order to stay book, right? That 2/3 number. Yeah. Otherwise, if you like the 20 attacks, then I think this is the lineup, my guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely need some testing, but I'm definitely liking it.
Oh yeah. Let me go look at attacks one more time, just to make sure that I'm not leaving anything on the table. Attacks, weapon, go. Cannon Blast is a cool one.
Yeah.
It's like a sick bomb. What could we take out for Cannon Blast? Maybe create Bow Staff. You like this card?
It was just a way to pick up a foundation, and then if I needed to build it. But and the only other thing that's going for it, it's a 4-diff that really big sword can pick up.
Let's do 1-1. Well, you're always gonna pick up 10 Sword Slicer because this card's sick after a really big sword. Let's do 1-1. Let's do 1 Cannon Blast. So you actually have 5 bombs, or 4 bombs, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like this thing is supposed to get really big, and this thing also just gets really big.
Yeah.
Oh man, Cannon Blast Spinner seems disgusting. That seems yucky, man. I don't like that. We're not even playing on Wavering Slash? What are we doing? That's pretty good.
Playing a legal deck.
That card's pretty good. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the list, man.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very, very welcome. Stay on the line long enough for me to shoot you the list, and you have a good rest of your night, okay?
You too.
All right, peace.